you guys are just tuning in, we just finished watching The Conjuring on Discord. I would love to go travel to places that are spooky, maybe like a vlog or something.
I just bought my dad for Father's Day a spirit box. I was trying to tell you earlier, Cersei, that birds were doing that to our parents' house. Just flying in the windows and killing themselves.
Are you serious?
It's not funny.
That's not funny. Poor bird. Our parents' house looks like that one room of haunted objects we saw in The Conjuring.
Imagine that as an entire house, and that's our parents' house.
Yeah, it definitely looks like a museum.
Dad woke up like 4:30 in the morning because he heard kids in the living room or something. I stay at my parents' every once in a while. I was there this weekend, and I woke up this morning because I heard kids. Mom was like, oh, it's just the neighbor kids. They were just like softly talking the way that my niece softly talks, so I thought it was my niece. No, they weren't there. No one was there. So when I saw my dad, I was like, who are you talking to? Are you alone?
My nieces are always at my parents' house.
There's always that child energy there. That's why Dad and I were like hearing those things. There was a time when I was sleeping in your room when I was younger, and there was a kid that whispered in my ear, and he was dressed like from the 1800s.
I slept with a light on and a blanket over my head because I was scared they were going to talk to me, because I feel like they can influence your dreams.
Yeah, I do have a habit of putting the blanket over my ear because I don't want them to whisper to me at night. What happens is like my ears will ring, so I know that something's trying to talk to me. I know that sounds crazy, but it's kind of like dials in and out like a radio. My dad was saying that there's more activity in the daytime. I agree with him. As soon as I got up this morning, my ears were ringing so much. In and out, in and out.
I definitely feel like it's when you wake up. You're not fully awake, you're not fully conscious, you're not sure what's real, what's not. So that is the best time that they can connect with you.
At my apartment, it's fine during the daytime. You usually hear that activity is more frequent at nighttime. My brother and I have always been able to sense the energy of houses. We would do it when we were younger or before moving into a new place. Is that something you can do as well? If the energy is strong enough, I can. I've been practicing trying to feel chi energy, and it takes me a little bit of time to activate it sometimes. I recently went into a shop where they had all these weird artifacts and feeling different energies from this doll collection. So just like practicing stuff like that, really trying to learn how to navigate this and how to look at it differently. The fear kind of was controlling my life, and it's gotten better now. That has a lot to do with just me taking the time to study it and trying to change my perspective on it. I don't sleepwalk, but I did this time. And there's this room that really scares me. I really hate that room. It's our old bedroom when we were growing up. I would never go in that room like by myself in my own free will. There's one night that I walked into that room and I put myself to bed, and Cersei was trying to wake me up. Hey, I'm ready to go to bed. Let's go to the other room. And apparently I told her like, no, I want to stay here. And then I had a really bad nightmare and I woke up in that room. Do you experience or have experienced sleep paralysis? Yes, I suffer sleep paralysis throughout my life, and I thought I was over it because it's been a couple years, but then it happened recently.
I used to get them when I lived there.
There's a really good documentary on Netflix. Hits really close to home.
With any of the twins you've met, you always felt there was something special about them, or maybe it's just they are more sensitive than other people.
When we were younger, we did have more of a connection. We would put songs in each other's heads all the time without actually like saying the song. Now maybe we just need to recondition.
There were times where I would dye my hair and she would dye her hair pretty close to the same day. We do the same things when we didn't even know.
The other day on stream, Cersei mentioned this tendency to scare people. People think that she just sneaks up on them. Like, that happens to me all the time too.
Because I'm so quiet, I'm like a ninja.
A couple years ago in my apartment back in Chicago, I was doing a reading for someone that just passed. Like, the clock stopped. 3 light bulbs burned out, and my ears were ringing like crazy. I think like a year ago, I was alone, and something just like blew off the shelf by itself. We didn't have a cat at the time. Think, oh, like a cat pushed it over or something. Yeah, and then lights from different parts of the room started flickering.
When I was a kid, it was that house. My parents live in the same house I grew up in. And I had so many experiences. Very first experience I ever had. I think it was my grandpa, but he was like in a younger form. And I assume he was just checking in on us. I didn't know what a ghost was at the time. I thought ghosts were like Casper. So I was really confused. Why is this man dressed up like he's from the late 1800s? Why is he just standing there? What am I seeing? And then he makes eye contact with me and then disappears. As I grew up, I no longer had experiences, especially after leaving that house. I listened to other people's stories and I'm like, it made me feel better that their experiences were similar, because then it made me feel like, oh, I wasn't crazy.Maybe I actually did experience all those things.
Our cousins' kids have told us stories of things they've seen in the house, and it matches.
One time I had a sleepover and there was a ghost just standing in between my friends who were sleeping on the floor. There was a time I woke up and someone was sitting at the edge of my bed. There was a time someone tapped me really hard and woke me and no one was there. I don't think I'm sensitive at all. Not anymore. When I was a kid, so much.
I disagree with her. It's like muscles, right? You lose muscles if you're not consistently working out. I've been trying to teach her chi energy, and I've seen her do it.
No.
Anyone can do it. It's just a matter of conditioning yourself.
I don't know if I want to be sensitive, because I know people who can communicate with spirits. They get no sleep, they get no privacy, are always feeling stuff, low energy. I'm not about that life, you know what I mean? I like to watch YouTubers and TikTokers and listen to Angel and other people about their stories. It's interesting to observe the experience. I think I conditioned my brain not to see it, especially after moving from my parents' spooky house.
She convinced herself that those weren't true experiences.
I'm pretty sure, like, the time my very first encounter was real. Another encounter I am convinced was real, which happened not too many years later. At the time, I shared bedroom with my sisters. That was before my parents extended their house. I was sharing a bed with my older sister, and my older sister was sleeping. I woke up in the middle of the night. That's usually when most encounters happened for me, is in the middle of the night. I wake up for no reason.
Told you, nighttime.
Yeah. Only once did it happen during the day, and that was the person sitting on my bed. So I woke up, and there was this lady, looked very, very sick. She was in a hospital gown, and she was just hovering over my older sister. I was like so freaked out. She did not look like a ghost I've seen before. She was not transparent at all. She was actually kind of glowing. She looked so sick, like really sick. Got so scared, hid under the covers and prayed she didn't see me. Most of my experiences was either in my old bedroom or that room. This was all when I was like between 7 and high school, I guess. I am 100% convinced my parents' house is haunted. There's multiple reasons that could be why. Both our parents, they collect, pretty much hoard, a lot of antiques.
I had a friend visit who is very sensitive to the paranormal, and he mentioned that he just felt a lot of different energy attached to different objects.
There could be a lot of spirits attached to those antiques, but also my dad dabbled with the paranormal. He has used Ouija boards in the past. I remember playing with a Ouija when I was a kid. Anyways, it spelled Jerry, and that was the name of my grandpa. Back at the old house we were renting before, there was so many paranormal stuff we experienced there. I think the spookiest one was when I was standing near our vanity mirror. I just showered, and the only light source I have was our lampshade, and I saw a black shadow figure on the mirror frame, and it wasn't mine. I looked behind me, then back to the mirror, and it disappeared. Mirrors also are notorious for being haunted, like dolls.
I did a recent YouTube video on Filipino funeral superstitions, and I mentioned mirrors and how during funerals and wakes you want to cover all the mirrors in the house with cloth, because there's this belief that the dead could show themselves in the mirrors. Actually, really bad chi energy to have a mirror in the bedroom for that kind of reason. Well, also like the energy bouncing from the mirror onto the bed is not good for you. I do have a mirror in my bedroom because I have nowhere else to put it. At nighttime, especially like a lot of activity between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. Yeah, I hear ringing just as I pass my mirror, nowhere else in the room.
Yes, I believe that too. Also, the most haunted part of the house was the master's bedroom. Most nights we will hear the door lock, moving back and forth, or sometimes the ghost will turn on the cooling fan or any button.
When we were younger, we were supposed to go to my cousin's house, and they were waiting for us. Supposedly my cousins saw my mom come in their house in a red dress. I think my aunt talked to her son sometime afterwards and told him that my mom called to tell them that they weren't coming anymore.
If you have any spooky stories that happened to you or someone you know that you genuinely thought was paranormal or unexplainable, feel free to share with us, and you can even do so anonymously. I'm gonna end the stream, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. Good night, guys. Thank you.